Jaguars, baby. And we gotta keep it hype. Keep it hype. Represent it for life. You know how we do it. Woo! Hey! Jacksonville Jags. We don't mean to brag, but when we on the field, we got it in the bag. Jacksonville Jags. You know how we ball. Best believe it. Got the people screaming out, Duval. Jacksonville Jags. We don't mean to brag, but when we on the field, we got it in the bag. Jacksonville Jags. You know how we ball. Best believe it. Got the people screaming out, Duval. Okay, Jacksonville Jaguars. Too much for your crew.
And what is going on, everybody? Welcome into a 2-8 edition of Club Jaguar here. We're having a blast playing meaningless games in November and December, but it's always meaningful when you guys join us right here every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time on Club Jaguar. We know the vibes with the Jaguars are not great, but the vibes on this show are at an all-time high, okay? It only gets better and better each week. I can bring in one person that knows what I'm talking about. What's going on, Jason?
Oh, not much, dude. Vibes are high over here, dude. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what team you're watching. I'm feeling great.
I'm watching the Jacksonville Jaguars getting 3 interceptions and holding a team to no touchdowns with Mac Jones as starting quarterback when I'm talking about low vibes. But over here, like I said, man, vibes are high. Vibes are high.
That's right. Of course.
And next, we'll go ahead and bring on Jordan DeLuga from Gen Jag. What up, Jordan?
Yo, feeling all right. You know, Jags might not be winning games, but the Magic, without Paolo, on a little bit of a heater, 3 straight after losing 5 straight after Paolo went down. So we're doing okay in the sports world.
And the UNF Ospreys.
Hey,
real good. Looking real good.
Being some SEC team. And even UCF basketball is actually looking half decent. They took down a ranked Texas A&M week 1. I don't know what's really happened since, but I think they're undefeated. Beat FAU. And they were good a couple years ago, so that counts for something, right?
Yeah, UNF beat an ACC team and an SEC team.
That's right.
Pretty wild.
Yeah. It's some pretty awesome stuff. But yeah, but we'll get into some, I guess, more sad stuff. But the Jaguars right now, at least with the way the Jaguars are playing, they're not affecting me. They're not making me sad after each Sunday. That's more of just a 1 game down, 6 or 7 more to go. And, you know, obviously the Jaguars played the Minnesota Vikings on last Sunday. But real quick, before I do enter that, forgot to give a shout out to BetUS, guys. These streams are powered by BetUS. 150% deposit bonus using promo code YouTube150. If you guys are looking for a new sports book, they will hook you guys up. And also, like we said, gamble responsibly and never gamble more than you can lose. So, yeah, the Jaguars on Sunday lost to the Minnesota Vikings. And, you know, the theme of the Jaguars is just creative ways to lose, okay? The Jaguars picked off Sam Darnold 3 times. They also held the Minnesota Vikings to 0 touchdowns. And the Jaguars still found a way to lose. I guess give us some takeaways from this game, Jordan. Let's hear, I guess, your overall thoughts of what you saw on Sunday.
I saw a lot of what I have seen in practice for the last several years between Josh Hines-Allen and Cam Robinson. He was getting after it. Cam Robinson didn't have a chance. And they mic'd up Josh Hines-Allen for this one, of course. Which, if y'all haven't seen that, go check it out. He was having himself a good time.
I haven't watched many mics up, but I did watch that one. It was pretty good.
Yeah, he actually wore Cam Robinson his old towel to kind of taunt him even more. And yeah, he was getting after it, man. Yeah. Cam Robinson did not stand a chance with that bull rush, with that speed to power. And then I think you saw one time, not only did they chip him with a running back, they hit him with a tight end on the same play, and then he got to Cam Robinson. They had a lot of respect for Josh Hines-Allen, as they should, and I thought he played a darn good game.
Yeah, it was good. Jason, what did you get from the game?
I got a fun stat for you guys. You ready for this?
I want to hear it.
So the Jags had 3 interceptions, which means they got the ball 3 extra times just off of defensive turnovers. If the Jaguars would have had 4 possessions in the first half, 4 possessions in the second half, and kneeled the ball every play, first, second, and third down, and that's all they did all game without the interceptions, they would have had the same time of possession as they did in that game.
That's not good, right?
No, it's great. Yeah, it's great. What are you talking about? That's
15 minutes.
That's an offense.
All right.
This is like the second week in a row.
I've never seen that.
This is the second week in a row where time of possession has been awful.
They could have kneed the ball first down, second down, third down, punted all game with only 4 possessions in each half, and they would have had the ball the same amount of time.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
No, yeah, they legit had like I mean, if I can
17
actually I can go through their sheet right here. I mean, Jaguars punt, turnover on downs, 3 and out. Wait, no, I'm reading the wrong one, aren't I? Because we got a touchdown somewhere.
They had
in
a
there.
touchdown on the second drive, but other than that, I think it was about on.
Oh, I'm reading the Philadelphia drives. Okay, we had 3 and out, touchdown, 3 and out, punt, a sack after the half, and then the Jaguars had a punt, 3 and out, fumble, interception. Those were the Jaguars drives, and I know because I do these live reactions. Everybody all season put Mac Jones in. Like, what's so bad about putting Mac Jones in? Got to test him out, dude. Mac Jones was terrible. He was awful. Wasn't moving the ball at all. I just can't believe like the lack of being able to distribute to the wide receivers. And of course, like, you know, I said all along, I think, you know, Doug Peterson, the coaching staff definitely isn't setting Trevor Lawrence up in the best situations, and probably didn't do the same for Mac Jones. Like, I don't know why Brian Thomas Jr. isn't more in the game plans, why they're not trying to manufacture some, you know, throw it to him no matter what type of plays. But yeah, it's puzzling. It's definitely puzzling. So I don't know. With this one, the Jaguars lose another one. You know, they dropped to 2-8. Minnesota is literally 7-2 right now, which is pretty insane. And, you know, David Neal is mentioning how Josh Oliver was balling. Yeah, he's, you know, that 2019 NFL draft is actually pretty insane when you look at it. I mean, you have Josh Hines-Allen, Jawan Taylor, Quincy Williams, Josh Oliver, you know, Gardner Minshew. That's pretty good draft class there. But
Dave Caldwell cooked.
Yeah, Dave Caldwell cooked. But it's funny because it didn't seem very good until like 3 years after the fact. At the time, it was like, look how terrible this one is. But it turned into a pretty good game. So, you know, I'm curious with you guys, like, when it comes to like the defense, do you guys feel like the defense, you know, I know they were able to, you know, force, you know, several turnovers and not allow a single touchdown. Were you guys, you know, overall impressed with maybe some individual players that either of you guys saw on the defensive end of the ball?
Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, I was definitely impressed with Josh Hines-Allen. I thought Trayvon Walker, Eric Armstead actually showed some signs of life in this one too. But I think when you look at Tyson Campbell and his performance, that was so impressive. Limiting Justin Jefferson the way he did, and really, you want to say it's impressive how well the corners played. I think it is. But the tight ends were the bread and butter of the Vikings offense. It wasn't just Josh Oliver. TJ Hawkinson went off as well. And when you have a clear weakness like the Jaguars had in that game, they could not cover the tight end. I mean, why go anywhere else? Right? So I think that it was cool, like holding the Vikings to 12 points, but at the same time, Sam Darnold looked like New York Jets Sam Darnold for a lot of the plays out there. So to me, it's not like something that I think is going to be a turning point for this defense.
And do you think the turnovers, do you think they were like really good plays by the defense, or do you think it was just like Sam Darnold throwing some awful balls?
I mean, the Tyson Campbell batted pass to Foye interception was really nice, but he was trying to fit it in there tight, but it was good coverage. I think everything else was pretty egregious throws.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they bracketed Justin Jefferson the entire game. So they were like, he's not going to beat us. And they played over the top of Addison. And if you do that, then the opposing team, if smart, says, all right, let's throw it to our running backs and throw it to our tight ends, which is what the Vikings did. Like you said, Sam Darnold was horrible. Absolutely horrible. I mean, the interception that Savage had was one of the worst throws I've seen from any team in the NFL so far. And not to mention Darby's interception, he fumbled on his return. So it's like, yeah, cool, he intercepted it, but then he fumbled. So
and it didn't count anyways, right?
Yeah, I'm glad the defense played well. I mean, Vikings, like I said, played horrible. I mean, I think Aaron Jones ended up having like almost 7 yards a carry. So, I mean, he did decent on the ground when they decided to run. The Jags kind of looked like a Gus Bradley defense with the give up long possession, time of possession, and then stiffen up in the defense in the red zone. Yeah, I mean, I think Darnold played terrible. I mean, I'll give credit to the defense; like they played well, but nothing like you said, Jordan, where I'm like, oh, nice, they're good now. I'm not sitting here saying that. That's for sure.
And the officials for a second straight week gifted the Jaguars defensive turnover.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the types of situations you pray for. You have a football team that cannot capitalize on.
I think they just feel bad for us. I think they just feel bad for us. They're like, let's give these guys a break.
Yeah, Buster Brown didn't catch that interception in the end zone.
Oh yeah, I didn't think so either. I even remember like switching to possession, but I was like, man, they gave it like, why can't they get this to us when we're actually good? Yeah. Like I feel like these breaks never really come to us when we have like a decent I mean, they definitely were coming to us in September, but you know, I don't know, maybe they don't want the Jaguars that number 1 pick, right? I don't know. We're not going. I don't know if you want to go tinfoil hat mode here. You know, it's funny that some people are talking about the title of this video. The title of this live stream is Jaguars on Upset Alert. And guys, I'm officially in sarcastic title mode for this channel because that's where we are. And when you look at this upcoming game, Doug Peterson already, you know, met with the media and said that Trevor Lawrence is going to be out this upcoming Sunday, but it looks like he could probably return after the bye week. There's one person I'm not sure if he's going to return after the bye week, but we can talk about that at another time. But you know, with I don't think the whole Trevor Lawrence thing was even around this time last week when we did this show, when it comes to his all of a sudden kind of injury that popped up. So, you know, with Trevor Lawrence, I know, you know, Jason mentioned on his live stream last night was like, oh yeah, Mac Jones is playing, I ain't going. So I know I kind of feel the same because like I wasn't sitting here like actively rooting against the Jaguars because I do really like watching Trevor Lawrence play and I want Trevor Lawrence to succeed and I want him to get some wins. But you know, now with like I'm watching Mac Jones out there, like I don't mind beating our rivals. Like if the Jaguars are to have been playing that same as that game against the Texans on Sunday, I'd be like, let's go Jags. But that ugly slop game against the Minnesota Vikings, it just seemed like such a cheap win if the Jaguars were able to get it. So I'm curious with you guys, like with no Trevor Lawrence, like Jason, are you like sitting here kind of leaning like wanting the Jaguars victory? You're just kind of like, if we lose this one, it's not all that bad.
I could tell you, but in the words of Doug Peterson, you just wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand if I tried to tell you. So, you know, I'm just not going to because you wouldn't understand. So
I'm just not an X's and O's guys, bro. That's why I bring you guys in and explain this stuff to me.
No, I mean, I don't care. I mean, honestly, like to me at this point, you kind of mentioned it earlier. Like, you know, you said this without saying it. We're kind of numb at this point. Like, it is what it is. Like, I mean, are we? I know we're not trying to talk draft yet, but like, I'm kind of already looking at like, oh, could Travis Hunter play offense and defense? Like, that'd be kind of cool. Like, you know, we could have him playing both ways. You know, that'd be kind of cool. So at this point, I don't care. There's no shot the Jags making the playoffs. We're all in this limbo purgatory waiting for Doug Peterson to be fired. He knows it. We know it. It's this awkward thing where he's not even answering questions anymore. He's not going to give us any information. He's probably won't be here much longer, like you said, probably after the bye. But it's just, I'm going to watch, but it's weird. I genuinely don't care what I see. Do I want to see the few key pieces that we can build around do well? Yes. But I'm expecting
Brian Thomas Jr. and his 3 targets.
How about this? Okay. The Jaguars wide receivers, the people on the team whose job it is to catch footballs. No, I think they had 3 catches. I think they had 3.
No, two. I think it was only 2 targets for wide receivers.
Because I thought Thomas had 2 and Gabe Davis had 1.
No, they Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. had, you know, their catches, but they were only 2 receivers even targeted.
Exactly. Right. 3 catches total amongst your wide receivers, whose job it is to catch the ball. You had 3 catches. So I don't even know what we're watching anymore. Pop Warner football at this point.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, I've never seen 15 minutes time of possession that I can remember.
It was 17, Jordan. Come on.
Okay.
But it really is insanity though, man. I just don't understand why they aren't at least like this is why I definitely feel like it's honestly more coaching than Mac Jones, because you gotta manufacture touches for these guys. Like do some wide receiver screens, do some, I don't know, just throw it up. Screw it. Like literally if it's 3rd and 8 and you're at your own, 30-yard line, just drop back and just try to chuck it up to Brian Thomas Jr. See what happens.
Oh, Mac Jones did that one time to Gabe Davis and threw it right to the defender.
You wouldn't figure it out.
Screw it. You're gonna have to punt anyway.
But you wouldn't figure that play out. Okay?
Yeah, you guys wouldn't understand. You guys just wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand.
That's why Jordan is the credential guy. He understands. Jason breaks down the X's and O's. He understands. I don't know about me, man. I'm just I'm dishing the questions out to you guys, so you guys can explain to me. The chat is explaining to me, but it's a weird situation. So if you're here, like, do you guys think? Which obviously we're not like medical experts out here, but do you think that that Trevor Lawrence potentially elects just to have the surgery to end the season? I mean, I just can't. I can't imagine that the Jaguars inevitably lose to the Lions. They're 2-9, and then they still trot out Trevor Lawrence with a somewhat significant injury that he has right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how significant it is. I think it's really interesting because Doug Peterson has been asked multiple times, like, is surgery on the table? And he keeps saying, I don't know where that's coming from. We haven't talked about that at all. So it was I think it was Rap Sheet who said that surgery was on the table as Trevor Lawrence was like weighing out his future options.
And also, John,
so where did that come from?
What is it? Jay Gruden sitting on his sofa.
Yeah.
Did you see that tweet?
Yeah. So
Jay Gruden tweets from the Atlantic Beach Country Club at the turn, and I have on good faith that happens. All right, here in Jacksonville, just so y'all know.
Well, he's got like I guess he works for like Underdog, and he's tweeting it out, and I was just like where did this guy come from tweeting this out? But
he works for Underdog to analyze football games on their streams, not break news.
Yeah, no, that's what's funny about it.
Yeah, but so you have to question, where did that information come from? And the possible sources would be Trent Baalke or Trevor Lawrence's camp. I would have to say it was probably Trevor Lawrence's camp. Speaking about Trevor Lawrence, right? And was it a power play? Like, what did it mean? What are we doing here?
Yeah,
we're trying to force Shad Khan's hand. What are we doing? I don't know.
I think one thing we do know about Trevor is, like, he's not the type of guy that's gonna like sit out just to sit out's sake. He's a gamer. He's a competitive player. I mean, if he's able to play, I think he's going to play. He's not the type of guy, in my opinion, that's going to be like, no, let's just wait till next year. Like, even with surgery, I think he's the type of guy that's like, let me finish this year out with my team, and then I'll get surgery in the offseason if surgery's on the table. And again, I don't know anything, but just based off what I've seen from Trevor, that seems like the type of guy he is. So that's what I would expect.
I agree with that. And I also, from what we know about this, Doug Peterson has said it's a pain tolerance thing. It's not like a risk of re-injury type of thing or further injuring it. Like, it is what it is, I think, at this point. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see him back following the bye week. I also wouldn't be surprised if there's a different head coach on the sideline following the bye week. And that's not insider information. That's just, I mean, a 2-9 football team that was expected to be the best team in franchise history. That owner is not going to be happy about that, right? And when is better than the bye week to make a move if you're going to make one during the season? Otherwise, it would be Black Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we're and that's, I was wondering if maybe after Minnesota Vikings loss, if it would happen, only because you're at home, you know what I mean? But now I guess they're
another close game.
Another
game. One-score game. Doug Peterson loves to bring up how many one-score games they've had.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see this week. I mean, we're literally 13.5-point underdogs against the Lions, but I imagine it's going to be a big blowout there. Then you have you got to make the move, man. Because as much as Jason says, like I think Trevor Lawrence is a guy that would play through it. Like I don't know, like if he truly doesn't believe the coaching staff is putting him out there, and if they kind of think he's putting him out there and almost like just not helping him succeed, I could so see Trevor Lawrence being like, screw it, like I'm the one that's putting my body at risk here, not Doug Peterson, not Press, not whoever. So I don't know. And he is ultra competitive. I definitely give him that. I just wouldn't want anything long-term to come out of this. And it definitely is a lot more of a pleasure watching him play football, just because you see the difference between him and Mac Jones. I mean, especially like in the arm strength category, like he just has so much more arm talent than Mac Jones when it comes to just delivering the ball and putting it in spots and even just dissecting what's going on around him. And, it's a big, game this upcoming weekend, because hopefully the head coach or the offensive coordinator for the Lions will be on the Jaguars sideline next year. So I don't know. And I know kind of I got Jason's on that when it comes to, how he's feeling about Jaguar games going forward, if he's really rooting for the Jaguars, or if he's kind of okay with losses. I'm curious with you, Jordan, like when you're watching these games, like this Vikings game, are you super actively rooting for the Jaguars to win with Mac Jones, or are you kind of looking at Tankathon being like, Jaguars have the number one pick right now. We're in a decent spot to really get the best player available. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, for me, you can talk about the number one pick and all that stuff, but it's really about making sure the changes are made that need to take place. And winning games, it gives you the possibility that won't happen. Changes need to be made in the front office and the coaching staff. You win games, there's a chance that doesn't happen. So I'm actively rooting against the Jaguars to lose right now. I don't want them to win games right now. I don't want them to win games. And now if they go ahead and make some decisions to move on from guys, and I'm rooting for individual players to play well and to have some signs of life. I just don't think that this coaching staff can get them to the point where they're competitive. So it's an interesting situation. I just think ultimately, once again, it all comes down to the changes that need to be made. What gives the Jaguars the best chances of making those changes? It's losing football games.
And we're almost in a dangerous situation here, because, the Lions, of course, really, really good team. They're like, 8-1 right now. But then after the Lions, you have a Texans team who has lost 3 out of their last 4. And then you end off the season with like 4 or 5 straight games against teams with losing records. So it's like, if you don't fire Doug, then all of a sudden you have some very, very winnable games. And if you go like 4-2 down the stretch, the shot say, you know what? Back-to-back winning seasons in his first 2 years, then started off a little bit rough, but then came back and showed some life. I mean, I can't imagine, it's so hard, for us as fans, we can literally sit here and say, this ain't it. You got to make changes, but we don't know how Shad Khan thinks. He's not a football expert by any means. And obviously he doesn't really like to take advice from, it feels like, what I've seen over his 12 years of being an owner of this team. I think probably enough people would have warned him about maybe an Urban Meyer where he probably would have turned that down. And obviously everybody from, it seems like media guys or former players were kind of telling him like, hey, Trent Baalke ain't really it. And he kind of kept him around. So he kind of marches to the beat of his own drum. So I do get worried that, if this doesn't happen in a bye week, then when does it happen? You know what I mean? And that's a big thing. And, a lot of people are concerned that, well, Doug Peterson's out, but is Trent Baalke safe? I can't imagine he's safe. I don't know a GM in NFL history that has ever had 3 head coaches that aren't all on an interim basis. So I don't know. That's honestly the big worry for me.
It's pretty bold of you to assume that just because the teams have a losing record that they're winnable for the Jags. It's
right.
It's pretty bold of you to say that.
I mean, I'm not going to say that we're going to win, but they are winnable. I mean,
Okay.
the Vikings were 7-2. The Vikings were 7-2,
and we only scored 7 points.
Lost by 1 possession.
Fluky game. I think if they go out there and play the Vikings again, it's not anywhere near that close.
No. And I think
nowhere near that close. That was a fluky game, and they still couldn't win it.
I think like for the reasons you brought up, Dalton, is why it's perfect to fire Doug Peterson after the bye, because maybe you do go on a little win streak. Maybe you do get a little momentum for next year, and maybe those players do play well. And I think it's a perfect time. Then maybe those winnable games you do win, and then you go into next season. You have a decent draft pick. You have a new coach, hopefully a new GM. And you can kind of use the momentum in your favor, go in the right direction, rather than in this limbo of like, should we keep Doug or not? So I think that makes it a perfect time to get rid of him.
And it really would not be difficult for, in my opinion, just about any offensive professional in the NFL to do a better job calling this offense than what has been done this year.
Yeah. And do you feel like
I'm not
Doug
saying that
Peterson checked
lightly.
out? Do you feel like Doug Peterson checked out?
I don't think he did on purpose, but I think he has. Yes.
It feels dangerously like Urban Meyer, because I don't think Urban Meyer at the very beginning.
That's not fair.
But no, I'll say this. I don't think Urban Meyer at the beginning of his coaching tenure, I don't think he really didn't care, but I think he saw the writing on the wall, and after 3 or 4 games, he probably gave up. I feel the same, because you're seeing snippiness out of Doug Peterson, and you're seeing him, not defend his quarterback. You're seeing him out there like, I don't understand these games. Like, Doug Peterson has won a Super Bowl this year, and look at the way our offense is being run right now. It's piss poor, man.
That's not fair to Doug Peterson, because Urban Meyer gets way hotter chicks than Doug Peterson does. That we know for sure.
No, yeah, it's just not fair to compare the two, just because even though Doug is doing a bad job objectively right now, I still think he treats people with respect.
Do you even
outside of the media?
Oh yeah, the media.
Yeah, I mean, coaches are mean to the media all the time. I mean, that is what it is.
But we just haven't seen that out of Doug Peterson yet. Was that the first real bit of like snippiness we've seen out of him, and maybe that's just
it's happened regularly throughout this season from Doug.
Yeah, I guess I don't watch enough press conferences because they just sound like a bunch of politicians to me. But it's I don't know.
I mean, he's never said something like what you guys wouldn't understand. I mean, that was the furthest he's gone as far as dissing the intelligence of people who watch football. I mean,
people who cover football full time.
I mean, we're not in those meeting rooms, and we get it. You watch way more film than us. But here's I kind of said this last night on my show. That dude's getting paid millions of dollars to make us understand. Like, that is your job. At my job, I get paid a fraction of what he gets paid, and I have to make people understand what I'm doing. So you're getting paid millions of dollars. Like, help us understand. That's what we're asking. Don't sit here and say we wouldn't understand. Well, we're literally paying tickets. We're consuming the ad revenue from the stadium. Our county is paying for half of the new stadium. Help us understand, please. That's all. That's my contention with that of that answer.
Yeah, I think that answer was more indicative of his feelings, not about the fans, but about the media. And he's not thinking about the fact that the media is the bridge between the team and the fans. And so I agree with you completely that it's ridiculous to not answer that question and to treat people that way. I don't think it's acceptable, but I think it happens far too often.
Mm-hmm. So do you guys think 1 week from today, when we're on a 2-9 edition of Club Jaguar, do you think Doug is gone? Do you think Trent is gone? Do you think one of them is gone? Do you think both of them are gone? I want to hear Jordan. I want to hear what you think.
I don't think they would fire Trent during the season.
Damn it.
That would surprise me. I'll tell you what, if they get smoked by the Lions, which I think there's every possibility that they do, I think he's going to get fired.
How about you, Jason?
Yeah. I mean,
who?
We're going to get smoked. What do you mean? There's a possibility. Vegas has us at 13, trying to tempt people to bet over 13 points. That's how much we're going to get beat by. We're going to get beat. I hope Doug Peterson's fired. I agree with Jordan. I don't think Trent gets fired till the end of the season, but there's no way you can keep Trent Baalke around after this year.
Man, but doesn't it feel like, to me, it feels like the root of the problem is Trent Baalke, and you got to cut the head off the snake. Dave Caldwell got fired midseason.
Yeah, that's true.
Granted, it was in December, but then Doug Marrone got fired after the end of the season. So
Yeah.
the only time he's actually made like a
I
real
think both
big
of those
wholesale
guys
change.
knew going into that year that was their final year.
Yeah, because the way they played the roster, they didn't try to put their best team forward, which
I think that was a different situation.
yeah.
It's fair.
It is weird though. It is weird timing because it was random. Like it was like we fired the GM in like December, and it was very strange to me, the timing. And yeah, maybe they don't make the move, but golly, man, and granted, I know a lot of people point at, hey, Trent Baalke's safe because he's trading away players for picks. Trade away Roy Robertson Harris, trade away Cam Robinson. I mean, I don't.
Dave Caldwell did the same stuff.
Yeah, no, he did. So
he was setting up the Jaguars for the future.
Yeah,
during his last couple years.
Yeah, no, he was, and I'm going to be on record. I think both of them are gone. I think both of them are gone. I think the cancer is gone, and I think Doug Peterson is gone. I think that we're going to have a new, young, hotshot interim head coach and Press Taylor going to lead the charge. Jaguar fans' favorite. No, I don't think. I almost wonder, does Press go with? It almost seems like you got Dr. Evil and Mini-Me. I mean, they got to go together. You know what I mean? So I don't. That'll be funny to see if exactly who, because of course Mike McCoy has head coach experience, but he's definitely up in years. I don't know if did we go the Indianapolis Colts route? Did we go like they did Jeff Saturday? Should we call up Tony Baselli? How about Tom McManus? You guys want to come over here and coach this thing up? I'm down for whatever, man. I'm down for whatever.
Unfortunately, Shad Khan is not on drugs like the Colts are, so that's not going to be happening.
I'm surprised we didn't get any Jim Irsay tweets during the whole Joe Flacco, Anthony Richardson debacle. He must be checked into rehab or something. Someone took his phone away.
I can see him promoting like Heath Farwell. Special teams coaches make the best head coaches. I'm a firm believer in that because they just can manage the game, hire good people. Special teams got to be culture guys and tough nose grit guys. So fire everybody on the offense. Keep McCoy around to call plays. Promote Heath Farwell to manage the clock and the timeouts, and let's just end this season as fast as possible.
Yeah, it could be fun though.
Yeah, I think
Heath Farwell
is
so high energy. He's exciting.
Yeah. That's what you would need at this point. Like not necessarily an old man, but get a guy with high energy. Get a guy that's exciting. I mean, I know he'd probably take that thing and stride with it. He's kind of fun to watch. And you always know the special teams guys. They get fired up on the sidelines, man. They're so that's an interesting one. I actually haven't heard him be brought up for a potential interim head coach thing, but that could
I'm
be
here
cool.
for it. And he's done a good job with that special teams units over the years.
Yeah. No, he definitely has. So, I'm curious with you guys, like, one thing that I'm confused about is how, like, Christian Kirk is injured. So we think like, okay, Brian Thomas Jr., it's his time to shine. But, this past game, 3 targets, 2 receptions, didn't get targeted until the fourth quarter, only 12 yards. Like, do you think this has something to do with the injury, or do you think this just has everything to do with the Jaguars just being pretty incompetent and confusing right now?
Number 2.
Like, if your offense was set up to work with Christian Kirk, why the hell isn't Parker Washington just filling his role and running the same offense? Like,
yeah,
makes no sense to me. Like it nothing about this offense makes sense whatsoever. I will give the little caveat that 3 sacks that like ruined drives. I actually posted this on Twitter where our running backs just completely whiffing in pass protection, and Mac Jones had no chance. And it was in all 3 backs, were a part to blame there. But additionally, Mac Jones, his mechanics looked terrible. I mean, almost every single throw he was throwing like off balance and on his back foot when he didn't need to. And I get he's the backup, and like maybe the interception to Gabe Davis, maybe it was an option route. They were on the same page, but just the one interception, the other interception he threw to Gabe Davis that wasn't in a corner route, but the one he threw on the curl route where he had ETN curled in the middle of the field, like he was smothered in coverage, and that was just bad. And on those plays, I was like, oh, no wonder they're trying to have a horizontal passing game because Mac Jones has no ability to throw the ball down the field. But like you said earlier, Dalton, like scheme up plays to get Brian Thomas Jr. a screen or an end around. Or, I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, Jaguars had 2 players outside of Mac Jones who ran the ball, and they had 3 receptions from their wide receivers. And you look at the Vikings, I know they had more time possession. They had 40 minutes, but like every single player on their team touched the ball at least once. And it's like, that's what a competent offense looks like. This is what an offense that has no idea what they're doing looks like, which is strange because Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl with that offense. He had a successful run in 2022 with that offense. And now it just looks like a dumpster fire of a strategy and a scheme.
Yeah. Tend to agree,
Yeah,
man.
I think that the play sequencing, the decision making, it's just all gone to hell. He lost. He's not a confident, or whoever it is, Press Taylor or Doug Peterson. They're not confident right now. I can promise you that. They have zero confidence in what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. So, now I want to move on. So Jaguars right now on Tankathon, of course, great website for where the Jaguars are right now. Familiar territory. I checked it after the game, and right now the Jaguars stand with the number 1 overall pick of this season today. Now, granted, a bunch of teams tied with 2 losses, and there are some teams out there that may jump the Jaguars just because they're 2-7 and the Jaguars are 2-8. Tiebreaker is strength of schedule, but the Jaguars do. NFC North definitely pumps us up a little bit when it comes to the teams with the hardest strength of schedule actually get the tiebreaker because technically they're worse because they're the same record, but whatever. So the Jaguars right now have number 1 overall pick. So I'm kind of curious because Jordan, you do a lot of this draft prep. Is there because the way I look at it is like I really want to go big guy there. I would love to get a left tackle there, that the Jaguars can have for the next 4 years. But, of course, everybody projects Travis Hunter to be like the number 1 guy. Is this a situation where is there a big drop off potentially between Travis Hunter and maybe the next best left tackle? Or is it like you just have to go get Travis Hunter because he's a blue chip guy? He can potentially play both sides of the ball. I'd love to hear your thoughts on him.
Yeah, I love Travis Hunter, man. And whether he was a wide receiver that moonlights as a corner or vice versa, guess what? The Jaguars can use both of those positions in a big way. Now, what I will say, historically, from a precedent standpoint, you don't take wide receivers or corners with the 1st overall pick. You rarely see that happen. I mean, literally since 2000, it's never happened. It's only been quarterbacks, offensive tackles, and defensive ends. It's been the guys throwing the ball, the guys trying to protect the guy throwing the ball, and the guys trying to pressure the guy throwing the ball. So that's all it's been since 2000. Now, I'm not saying you can't break precedent, but and I think the Jaguars, if they got the number 1 overall pick, might have to do that because I don't think a team is trading up to 1 for a quarterback this year. I don't think there's an offensive tackle that you can take at number 1 overall. Like, I do really love Will Campbell out of LSU. I think he's a fantastic player, but he's going to have short arms, and there's a chance that teams just don't want to play him at tackle. And are you going to take a guard with the 1st overall pick? I don't know. I still think it's yet to be determined if he can really play tackle at the NFL level. We've still got a lot of football left to play. He's done a good job. He's a young guy. He's athletic. He's strong as an ox. I love the way he plays. But again, when you're going up against guys like Trayvon Walker and you don't have the length that they have, it can present challenges. There's no question about it. So I think outside of him, I really don't feel comfortable with anybody at tackle. Josh Simmons, the Ohio State tackle, would have been a lot of fun, but he tore his ACL a couple weeks ago. And I'm not sure he should be a number 1 overall pick candidate either. So Travis Hunter, I think absolutely would be the top prospect for the Jaguars, or should be. And I know some folks say, gosh, you got to go offensive line. You got to go defensive line. When the board doesn't dictate that and you can't trade down because nobody wants a quarterback, what do you do? I think you take the best player you can. And for me, that would be Travis Hunter.
Interesting. Jason, love to hear what you think.
I have a long explanation, but I want you to get to this super chat, so I'm going to say you have to take Travis Hunter. I do think the Giants, Browns, or Titans would trade up for a quarterback. I think they would. But then you're running the risk of you not getting Travis Hunter. So I think Travis Hunter's the slam dunk pick there. I think he's one of the best athletic prospects to come out of the draft in a while. You watch him play at Colorado, and he's absolutely insane. He makes plays that are just eye-boggling week after week. I think that's the no-brainer pick there. It has to be.
Yeah. So I do see a Gus in super chat. I will get to it in a moment, but I do want to stick on this Travis Hunter thing. So do you think that, because one thing I get concerned about is like the word versatile, because I get, a lot of times you see these players come out, especially like, maybe inside linebackers, kind of like, I forget who the dude was back in like 2020, the guy from Clemson.
Isaiah Simmons?
Yeah, Isaiah Simmons. It was like, man, this guy could play, quarterback, linebacker, like you could do them all over the place. But it's like, in college, you may be really good at these different positions, but is he elite at one position? That's one thing that's a little bit concerning. So I wonder, with a Travis Hunter, is he really, really good at wide receiver and really, really good at cornerback? Or yes. is he, do you think he's elite at any one of those positions?
Yes.
Both. Yeah. And
Both.
like you bring up a good point, but your comparison is with guys who, when they did it in college, you were like, oh, they're pretty good at those other positions. Like Travis Hunter is like the best on the field at all times at both of those positions. So it's not Simmons, like it's not apples and apples, because this dude is like a game changer at both positions.
And Simmons didn't do in college what he was asked to do in the NFL, wherever he was. Travis Hunter is playing like an NFL player at both positions right now.
So do you think, like, how do you think it works in the NFL? Like, could you legit, because obviously he would play one of the positions full time and maybe split some time at the other spot, just because, man, the NFL, like, with 17 games plus potentially playoffs, I don't know if you want a player out there 100% of the time like Travis Hunter is. Like, how do you think, like, Jordan, would you prefer playing full time at cornerback and give him some packages over there at wide receiver, or how would you manage Travis Hunter if you were on the Jags?
I honestly go back and forth about it, man, because I love the idea of him playing opposite Tyson Campbell, and you have Tyson and him and Jarian as your top three, with Jarian at the nickel. But I also love the idea of him catching passes from Trevor Lawrence and making this offense a whole lot easier for everyone involved. And yeah, I do think either way he would probably moonlight on the other side. Right now, he literally plays full-time both sides. You're not doing that in the NFL. But I do think either way he probably is getting reps on both sides. It's really tough for me to say, because I do think from a skill set standpoint, you can legitimately make the argument either side of the ball. There's not one right answer and one wrong answer. There's not. Mm-hmm. So it's really tough.
I mean, I agree. It's not the same sport, but remember everyone talking about Shohei Ohtani. He's like, there's no way this dude pitches and bats. There's no way. It's never been done before. There's no way you can do both, right? And he's had his injuries, but like the dude came out and was a generational player. And I kind of see the same thing, because I don't know why. I bet on Colorado like every week, because they cover like every week. And so I watch a lot of Colorado games, and Travis Hunter is insane. And they're playing good competition this year. I do want to get your opinion on this, though, both of you. A tweet came out today. Deion Sanders said he's going to be real involved with turning down teams and franchises that he doesn't think are good fits for Travis Hunter. Do you see a situation where he comes out and says he's not going to Jacksonville?
I thought that was for Shador.
Yeah,
the tweet I read said both.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, either way, yeah, that's something you have to figure out. If Deion's going to try to block him from going to your football team, yeah, that's something you got to be aware of.
Well, also,
would he do that about Jacksonville? I don't know. I have no clue.
Also, Travis Hunter did say on a podcast that he wants to be the number 1 overall pick. That's the goal. So I don't know if it's going to be, because they talk about the whole Eli thing, but, Eli, he got traded, then he got drafted, then like traded back, and it was a weird time. And I don't know, man, like how much is that his dad? Is Deion his dad? Like, I mean, I know they probably have a very close relationship, but I don't know. I do know that on a podcast, like, they mentioned that Jaguars are drafting up there, and Deion was like, "Uh-oh, I don't like that." Like, so I don't know, man. It's like what team drafted number 1 overall is in a great spot. You know what I mean? Like, it's it's never great. So we'll see.
I think Deion would probably care who the GM and coach are.
Yeah,
which is TBD.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it doesn't feel it feels like the Jaguars have a new staff, they have new blood. It's not going to be lame duck like maybe the 2020 Jaguars were at the time. But one thing that would interest me is if the Jaguars do not have the number 1 overall pick, and then say they have let's say the Jaguars do have the number 1 pick, and then like the number 2 overall pick is the New England Patriots, and the number 3 team is a quarterback needy team. I wonder what it would take for the Jaguars to drop those 2 spots because the Patriots aren't getting a quarterback. Because I've been saying for some time, like what the Jaguars need, they don't need a bunch of like good players. They need more players that are like the best player at their position. And that's what we've seen so much out of like, the Chiefs. Like they've had the best quarterback out there. They've had the best wide receiver in Tyreek Hill. They've had the best tight end in Travis Kelce. They've had the best interior defensive lineman in Chris Jones. Like the Jaguars don't just need a bunch of like, really good players. They need guys that it's like when you go into the discussion of, hey, who's the best cornerback in the league? You automatically say that guy. Who's the best wide receiver in the league? You say that guy. That's what the Jaguars need more of instead of like, oh yeah, he's great in this role. He's great, on first downs and stopping the run. Like we need more game-changing players, and that's what hopefully we can get if we do. And of course, look, we have a lot of season left, 7 games left. Jaguars playing a bunch of losing teams. No guarantee that the Jaguars going to win those, but have a couple games against the Titans. They still play the Jets, the Raiders, all a bunch of pretty crap teams, all on, top 10 on Tankathon. So we'll see.
Here's an interesting thought experiment. When was the last time the Jaguars had the best player at the position?
Probably Jalen Ramsey.
And what did he do?
He demanded to get traded.
And where did he go to school?
FSU. I don't know the correlation.
Deion
All right,
Sanders?
we're taking Azaria Thomas.
Deion Sanders, FSU.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Defensive back.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah, but
I
he's
see what you're
Colorado.
But he's an alum. He's an alum.
Yeah.
You can't forget that.
Are we gonna take Deion? Are we drafting Deion Sanders as head coach? Is that what we're doing?
That's what the tweet made it seem like. That's what the tweet made. Hey, maybe we'll hire Deion Sanders. Maybe we'll hire Primetime to be our head coach.
Hard pass.
Yeah, we talked about that.
If you're
week.
Deion watching this out there, love to have you here.
All right, sweet. Now I do want to go ahead and get on to Augustin's super chat. $20, bro. Really, really appreciate that. It says Jason and Jordan. So I'm gonna step out of this one. What do you think about Louis Riddick as GM? He has stated he would like to be a GM in the NFL last couple of years. Do you think he would be a great GM for the Jaguars? And before they answer, I will say he has interviewed as GM for the Jaguars. Of course, he didn't get the job, but we'll hear. We'll go with Jordan's take on this one, and then Jason.
It's always hard for me with media personalities because you have heard them say idiotic things, and everybody says idiotic things. They do, but when it's the media, it's there for everyone to see. And so I've seen some really bad takes from Louis Riddick. I've also seen some fantastic takes. It seems like he's a guy that is smart, knows the game, but I honestly, GM is so hard for me to sit here and say who's going to be a great GM and who's not, because so much of the job goes on behind the scenes. You've got to be aligned with the head coach. You've got to be someone that fosters a great working environment for everyone around you, not just football people, but everyone in that building. You've got to obviously hire a great staff that you can lean on. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. So I honestly wouldn't feel comfortable saying either way about Louis Riddick as a GM. I know that's a non-answer. I apologize for that, but I don't know.
I'm in the minority here, like the minority here. I don't love Louis Riddick. I really don't. I don't really like the sound of his voice when he talks. I just like when I don't like when he calls games. To be honest with you, it's like
$20 to say that you don't like the sound of his voice.
Listen, I'm being honest. I'm being honest. Now, would he be a good GM? And no one knows, right? He's never done it before. Like you said, there's a lot that happens behind the scenes. People look at like drafting players and signing free agents as the job, which is a big part of it. But then there's the moving players week by week to practice squad, to 53-man roster, working with the head coach on finding the best 53 to make your roster. There's a lot that goes on a GM that there would be probably a huge learning curve for a media guy. Now, would he be bad? I mean, again, this is a hard question to answer, like Jordan said, because he hasn't done it. So he could come out and be really good, but he could come out and be really bad. Maybe if you bring in an EVP with a lot of experience, you could balance it out there. But it would definitely be a roll of the dice. But I guess I could be with Jags fans here when been like, we haven't had any success doing anything else, so you might as well try it. I mean, that's a valid argument.
Yeah. I would honestly probably want a head coach and GM that have worked together.
Yeah, I would agree. Would your plan
I know that's not the only way, but
would your plan be go out there and find the best head coach and kind of work in step with getting a GM after he's hired, or are you going to go the traditional GM head coach route?
I don't think there's a one right way to do it. I think if you can figure out how to get Ben Johnson here, though,
yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I'd agree. That would be the move for me. And then obviously, I don't think there's anybody on a podcast out there that's saying, you know what, we have a head coach opening, but we don't want Ben Johnson. You know, he's the guy everybody wants. So we'll just have to see. But, you know, like we say, guys, with all of these shows, you know, we don't really get into these games very early because it's not really that relevant anymore. But we do want to give a shout out to this video sponsor, BetUS. And just so you guys know, the Jaguars are 14-point underdogs. But what I'm not going to do here, I'm not going to go around a table and get predictions on this one just because it's a little bit boring. I'm going to do some other stuff, okay? There's some Travis Hunter props on BetUS, which is who this stream is powered by. 150% deposit bonus using promo code YouTube150. So there's different lines like team to select Travis Hunter in a 2025 draft.
Plus 1,200?
Teams, yeah, plus 1,200. Look, if you go in order, Titans are plus 300, Panthers plus 400, Giants plus 400, Vegas and Patriots plus 700, Dolphins plus 800, Broncos plus 900, Chiefs plus 1,000, and then you get into Jaguars tied with a bunch of different teams at plus 1,200. So maybe the Deion fix is in.
Who do they have other guys for the NFL draft and their props?
No,
like
it's just right now it's just Travis Hunter. So we have team to select them. They also have like where will Travis Hunter be selected? You know, first is plus 250.
So they expect him to be the first overall pick. And they don't think the Jaguars have any chance, basically, at selecting first overall?
I don't know, man.
It doesn't add up.
They're trying to make money. This is what gambling sites do. They're trying to make money. And BetUS has a great advantage because Colorado still has a bunch of games to play where Travis Hunter could get hurt, where he's not the first pick in the draft. So the odds are stacked against you in even making this bet. But at plus 1,200, that always makes me raise my eyebrows a bit.
So if you select this and put 20 on this, for example, it can net you $240. Those are pretty good odds. So
do it.
I'm gonna keep that one in there, but I'm gonna go get some other stuff. Okay, where would Travis Hunter be selected? There's also Travis Hunter will be drafted as a wide receiver or DB. I wonder if he'll be drafted as offensive weapon or whatever, or just football weapon. Shout out to Denard Robinson. What will happen in his rookie season? Catch a touchdown, intercept the pass, potentially both. Travis Hunter, the break record for games snaps in a rookie season, plus 110 for yes, minus 150 for no. So lots of Travis Hunter
Not a
props.
bad bet.
I also want to get into AFC South divisional odds, which I do want to give a shout out to the AC South Roundtable. I'm the official host now of the AC South Roundtable. So definitely go check out yesterday's show. You'll see me hosting. Give me some love as I'm kind of steering the conversation. So right now on BetUS, Texans minus 1,800 to win the AFC South. Probably pretty good there. The Jaguars are dead last at plus 8,000. You have the Colts at plus 1,200. Titans at plus 5,000. And right now the Texans aren't playing very good football. Started off 5-1. They lost 3 out of their last 4, but seems like they'll be able to just sleepwalk into the playoffs. If we actually select Jaguars and just say, hey, how about I just put a cool $5 on this? Could win you $400, guys.
Yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason.
Could win you what if I put $100? $8,000. Is that a safe bet, Jason? You're the betting guy.
I would advise against it as the gambling counselor here. 1-800-STOP-GAMBLING, whatever the phone number is. I've never called it, but I would say no. I'd say no.
Well, in the spirit of let's in the spirit of 420, I'll get to there we go. $5.25 to net me $420. I'm doing that. Okay.
That's the account.
I'm doing
right
that
there.
because that's what you got to be on to think that the Jaguars are going to win this AFC South. But yeah, lots of. I'm gonna lock these in. I mean, the more important one is the Jaguars at plus 1,200. The draft, Travis Hunter. I think that's a fun one. And
It is.
you know, like you guys know, I got over $2,000 in my account. Okay, I can just piss away my gambling money. So I'm gonna place these bets. And
Any
also,
guesses on which NFL rookie has the most snaps of all time? I'll give you a hint. It's kind of current and it's a defensive back.
Oof. Can I, okay, what school do you play for? SEC, ACC?
I
gotta ask some questions. I can't just guess some.
Yeah, I
random
mean,
rookie
let's see
DB.
here. I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
And while he does that, I'm
give
gonna
it
lock
away.
in- I'm gonna
Give it
lock in
away.
these.
Uh,
Give it away.
Yep, Sauce Gardner. Yep.
Boom.
Damn, that's a nice pull. Oh yeah, if you said the American,
I was gonna go
Athletic-
Sertan until you didn't want to say which conference. And I was like, okay, Sauce.
if he said the American Athletic, I would have been. I'm a UCF guy, man. I know all about that. Even though we're in the Big 12 now. So,
Yeah, that's right.
you
Big
know,
dogs.
we're making big moves over here with Gus Malzahn, old man. But yeah, shout out to BetUS, sponsor of the stream, and we're powered by BetUS. Made some fun bets over here because we didn't even touch the Jaguars against the Lions because, man, who really cares? I know Jason really wants to get into it, but I'm holding
taking
back.
the under, and here's why. The only reason why, I think the Jags are terrible and they're going to get blown out. But when you see a 14-point line in the NFL, you almost have to take it. Like, you almost have to take a 14-point line in the NFL. Like, if you took every 14-point line in the NFL of all time, you'd come out way on top because NFL games they're always 7, 3, 7, maybe 10 points just because of the way the game flows. But
What is the over under?
So
the
okay,
over-under?
I'll go ahead and get to it right now. The Jaguars are, like I said, 14-point underdogs, and over under is 46.5.
Okay.
And we only scored 1 touchdown
with Mac Jones playing quarterback.
against,
So yeah, I mean it could be like 28-10.
and we'd still be under.
47-0. Could be 47-0.
That's probably more likely. This is not fun, man. This is like it's not fun previewing games this year. And usually it's fun. Usually I'd be like, Jordan, give us the X's and O's. How are we gonna attack Brian Branch? How are we gonna block a healthy Aiden Hutchinson? How are we going to scheme up? But no, we're just talking about how can we not die?
How can we not lose by 47?
Yeah. How can we score? How can we, like, you know, it's funny that because the Jaguars, you know, we were all bad because we lost after having 3 interceptions. The Texans picked Jared Goff off 5 times, 5 interceptions, and still lost. They're
Yeah, Bobby Sloak is having a heck of a tough season.
man, it's crazy because he was like that close to being a head coach last year, and I was like, all right, you know, still young, he'll get it next year. Now, like, I mean, there's Texas fans are all wanting to fire him. You know, he's having.
It seems like their offensive line has fallen apart somehow.
Yeah. And they spent a lot of money on the offensive line too. It's like one of the highest.
They had one of the better offensive lines in the league last year.
Yeah.
They're missing a bunch of receivers too. So
Yes. Yeah, no, I think no Nico Collins is ultimately the most
Yeah.
difficult thing for them.
And he'll be back. He'll be back next week. I believe. I think they're holding him out this last one. Also, I forgot to get to the super chat. $5 from Steven. Thank you, Steven. Says, so at least 2 of y'all are Orlando Magic fans. Will we ever see a club? I'm a Magic fan. We got 3
all
Magic
3 of
fans
us
here.
All 3 of us.
Yeah, man. Will we see
Do
Club
y'all see
Magic
the
show?
jersey in the background? Hold on. Wait for it. Look at that.
I
Look at
think
that.
Boom.
I think
JJ
he
Redick.
knows you're a Magic fan. I don't think he knows what I am.
Oh, okay.
But I'm a Magic fan.
I was
live-
so depressed when we drafted JJ Redick.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I grew to like him, but I just hated him so much at Duke.
Oh man, I loved him.
I mean,
I
he's
was a
like
hated
one of
white
the
guy
be-
at Duke. Yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't stand him.
Yeah. Did you punch your TV in rage?
No,
I could see you
no.
being that guy.
I wasn't a very angry guy. Still not.
Typical Magic. They make him the 6th man his whole career, and he goes on to be a starter and plays well everywhere else he goes, and now the head coach of the Lakers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hell of a
But-
career for JJ.
But yeah, hopefully Paolo comes back healthy soon. Of course, who is it? Wagner's been playing pretty good in his absence.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't watch too much regular season basketball, but I'm a self-admitted bandwagon. Once the playoffs come, I ain't missing the game. Okay.
Well, hey, the Magic just won their 4th straight game.
Man.
7-6. Just beat the Pacers. Just must have just finished while we're getting finished recording here. 94-90.
See, look at that. He's missing Club Magic for Club Jaguar. Got it.
Right.
Gotta love it. Jordan, do you have any? I know you like to cover the Jaguars. You cover the NFL too. Any Magic coverage in your future?
I don't know.
Ooh.
I've thought
Okay.
about it.
He's thought
Sounds
about
fun.
it. He's thought
thought about it.
He's thought
Uh-oh.
about it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I
You
have
guys
thought
know.
about it.
Go to Jordan's YouTube channel, subscribe to him, catch him on a live, and start throwing some donos his way. You know what I mean? He might he's $20 can go a long way.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
maybe one day. We'll see.
Yeah.
Love the Magic though. Pulling for him every night.
Sweet, man. Yeah, we got 3 Magic guys here, so it's all fun. It's all good. But all right, guys, that'll do it for this show. Like I said, 2-8 edition of Club Jet. I envision so much more of this show at this point. We pictured the Jaguars being a playoff hunt. We pictured this show being like the hottest show on which it's still a pretty hot show, but would like to be able to deliver you guys some more exciting Jaguar stuff. But it's just unfortunate we're not very good. But we'll continue to keep this thing on and look, we'll be Jaguar fans for life. I know there's people that are up and down, on and off the bandwagon. We'll be here forever. And like I always tell you guys, man, the diehards that are in this show, we got David, we have Double S, Robert in the building. Like, you guys that are here when we're 2-8 are going to enjoy our Super Bowl so much more when it happens than the people who jump on in December and start going to games. So, it is what it is. The Jaguars are not good, but it's still a fun show. Jordan, let us know what you have coming up on Gin Jag.
Well, I will do a preview of the game. I will. I've been talking about the draft and coaching candidates and like what we're looking for the rest of the season, all that stuff. One topic that I saw on Twitter this week was, I think maybe Albert Breer was saying it's a bad year to have a top 5 pick. I think he's wrong, and I'm going to talk about that in the morning.
Ooh, I like the tease. Jason, I saw you were live last night.
That's
Was
right.
in our show. It's
Yeah.
hey, we're 2-8. It's even more unfiltered than you guys can ever imagine. So, let us know. You going back on Friday? Did you scare Travis off, or are you a little too let us hear.
I'm a little much sometimes, and that's okay. I can't be fake, But no, I don't think I scared him off. I think he's coming back this week. But yeah, I'm going to probably watch like 5 Lions games and clip 25 plays and show 3. And that's how the shows usually go because we end up just going off on a side tangent. But I have a lot of fun. So just like I'm having a lot of fun here. Like, we're bad, but I'm having a great time. So
sweet, man. And yeah, Double S is asking what's Jordan's YouTube channel. Guys, both of their links are right down in the description box. So go click on it. And everybody in here, man, we have 108 people. Everybody should be subscribed to these guys. Between us 3, man, we got some really, really good Jaguars coverage for you guys. And we'll get your video fix in. We'll get your live stream fix in. I mean, got a lot of content. Even though we're not good, got a lot of good content coming out of each of us. So please go over there. subscribe to them, and you'll get your good Jaguar fix. So with all that said, like I said, all these streams are powered by BetUS. They got a great promo going for you guys. Use promo code YouTube150 for a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000. You guys can start playing today and put some money down on these Travis Hunter lines. So with all that said, thank you guys for being here. Please drop us a like on your way out, and go Jags.